Say June 25th, and then Friday, June 27th.
Okay,
Um, but it doesn't, I don't see like times there.
gotcha. So since other classes have had um kind of like it's open on certain days, I would
Hmm.
expect it to be similar to that.
Hmm.
I know ASU tries to, kind of have like the same structure for a lot of their courses in general.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I see what
Hi. So I took that course in
you,
last spring, and the exams normally were open around 5 p.m. on Sunday and closed on Monday midnight.
Hmm. Okay.
okay.
So I suppose it will be the same now in the semester as well.
Okay, I see. Also, can you hear me now? Do you Beata, is that how you say your name?
Yeah, it's correct. Yeah, now I can hear you. I reconnected and now it's good.
Okay, okay, that's good. Yeah, for some reason my headphone microphone wasn't working at first. But yeah, so Beata, are you just able to use like take the test whenever and then Honor Lock will just track when you take the test, or how would you say that works? Okay.
Yes. So that was the case. You can take the test whenever you want in the span of time when it's available. So normally they would unlock it on Sunday evening and then lock it again Monday midnight. So you have 1.5 days to complete the exam, and it's proctored exam as well. So you will have
Hmm.
to like have a clean room and no distractions, all that.
Hmm.
Cool. Do you guys have any other questions before I go over the activity?
I do on the I don't know if you want to explain now or after the activity, but I do have an on one of the extra, like it's called the bonus. What is research panel presentation summary? I just want to know what presentation is it, the one we're working on as a group, or is it a different one?
That is also a good question. Beata, I don't know if you know off the top of your head.
It's a separate assignment.
A
So
separate assignment.
you have a big bonus project, which is a research project, and this
Uh-huh.
is like a one big extra bonus thing. And apart from that, you have each week, I think you have a small essay. So you have to watch a panel discussion, and then based on that, you have to write a short summary.
Okay, so
And
that one was about what's research. That one is that video that I watched, that 1 hour long video, and then write a summary on the video. That's all I have to do.
yes, correct.
Awesome.
And
Awesome.
after you submit it, I think you get 10 extra bonus points for that.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not
awesome.
sure
Okay,
though.
good to know. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I had a question.
Hmm.
How long would you say it takes to finish a module? I noticed that we seem to have a lot of work due almost every day, like especially the 21st. Like, how long would you say that would take to finish?
I'm not sure about the amount of time as well. Once again, I mean, Beata, if you have another answer, it is a fast-paced
Uh,
though, so there's a lot. Yeah.
yeah, it's a heavy workload. I would say please assign a lot of time because apart from going through the videos and some reading was there as well. Reading is not as much. There's quite a lot of lecture videos, and then you have activities, you have recitations, you have quizzes. So I would say at least 20 hours per week you have to put into the work.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is definitely a fast-paced course. I just TA'd Bio 340 for the first time this past spring, and that was a whole 16-week semester, and I feel like that was an even fast course or fast-paced course. So you guys are in for like a wild ride, but it'll be all right. I mean, you guys coming to office hours is a great first step to being able to kind of like synthesize all of this information. So yeah.
Yeah, my advice is attend the office hours whenever you can. It helped me a lot. Thanks to office hours, I didn't have much problem completing any of the like activities and assignments, recitations. It was pretty helpful. So whenever you can't attend, just watch the recording.
Okay, awesome. I'll share my screen real quick so that we can look at the activity together. And then while I go through it, if anyone has any question or any questions about anything on the worksheet, feel free to kind of stop me while I'm going through the worksheet, and then we can talk about it together. Can everyone see my screen all right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. So I don't know how many of you have looked at the worksheet yet, but we're pretty much just going to be going over the central dogma. And this is just great practice for understanding how DNA is turned into mRNA and then turned into a protein. So you can see like on this diagram on the left, we have the nucleus where the DNA is transcribed. And so that turns into mRNA so that it can exit the nucleus through a nuclear pore, and then it is translated out in the cytoplasm. So you can see that for every three um, uh, nucleic acid residues on the DNA, each one is going to encode for one mRNA codon, and which encodes for one amino acid residue. And it's also worth noting that there are two DNA strands that have two different names. We have the DNA coding strand, which is this top one going from 5 prime to 3 prime. As you should have learned from the lectures, DNA strands are anti-parallel to each other. So you can see the 5 prime over here is, or the 5 prime is over here on the coding strand, but over here on the template strand, it's going to be on the right. Since the template strand goes from 3 prime to 5 prime. So the RNA is transcribed from the template strand. As you can imagine from the name, this is the DNA strand. I mean, once you fill this in, you'll see that this is the DNA strand that the RNA is complementary to, but is also synthesized from or transcribed from. So then you'll go through and label the expected protein. And then you'll answer a few questions just about where transcription takes place, which you can see, answer that question from looking at this diagram over here. And then you'll just be asked, like, what is not a nucleotide component, just to kind of hammer down the idea of what actually makes up a nucleotide. And then you'll be looking at different parts of protein folding. And also, in order to go from the RNA, if this is the first time any of you are ever seeing this, if you're going from the DNA to RNA and then to the amino acid, you'll be using this amino acid table here, where you have sequences from the mRNA codon sequence, and you'll be able to match it up depending on the first letter, which you'll choose from the left over here, and then the second letter on the top to find the codon of interest, and then you'll be able to see what amino acid stems off from it. So this is a pretty straightforward activity, and I think it kind of lays the foundation for understanding how genetics works at a molecular level, because understanding it at this level has really increased the amount of research and understanding overall that we have on genetics. But after going through this, does anyone have any questions right off the bat?
Are when it comes to the content coming on like later in the course, are we supposed to have like on the bottom there that chart that you showed, the genetic code, the second letter? Are we expected to like have any of these memorized, like what combinations create like those coded letters like UUU creates like like the combination there. UUC creates the combination there.
Personally, I don't like I've never had to memorize them.
Okay.
Bio 340 classes in the past that I've TA for have not needed to do that as well.
Oh.
Um, Even people who do research, like sometimes I have to use this like genetic code table to actually see, wait, like what amino acid am I specifically looking at?
Mhm.
Um, I have had to memorize the amino acids themselves though, like the structures and like their characteristics, but this specifically, that would be a lot to memorize. So,
Gotcha.
yeah, you'll always have this available to kind of refer to.
So we don't have to print out a copy of this at all. We can. You guys are gonna get provide one.
So for this, I believe you're supposed to print them out, this activity, and then
No,
fill.
no, I'm talking about the genetics code for the next for the following you know the genetics code table. Do I need a print out just to have one for like the exams, or you guys are gonna provide one on the exams if you guys have these kind of questions?
That's a good question. Beata, how is that done in the past? Sorry, I keep referring to you because you've taken
Yeah,
the
yeah,
course
no
online. Thank
problem.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very fresh, so I remember everything. Yeah, so whenever you have a question related to genetic code in the exam, the genetic code table will be given to you. Moreover, you're not even allowed to have any printed materials on your desk or in your environment during the exam, so you can't actually print and have it.
Great, thank you.
I had another question.
hmm
So, do we have to download it, or can I just do the activity on like my iPad and submit that? Do we have to print it out?
I think, I mean, it seems like you can do it on your iPad, but it needs to be uploaded as a PDF.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question.
hmm
Okay, I'm not good at tables like this, but so like starting with the DNA template 3, I'm so bad at this. I'm sorry.
No, you're
Where
good.
would
I mean, yeah, it's a tough thing because like overall it's a lot like you have to do for this.
yes.
Yeah.
So like where would I even start? Would I start with the first DNA coding at the end and then just keep going or
So I would start by looking at that. I think you had mentioned that the DNA template, the starting with the three prime end,
Mhm.
you're going to, so the coding strand and the template strand are complementary to each other. And they're the ones that actually make the double helix. So what might be helpful is just understanding that the template strand is going to be complementary to the coding strand. So I think this example was given on the canvas where if this template strand is going to be complementary here, this A would be paired with a T. So here you would have like T, A, C, because that's what is actually complementary to the coding strand. So then you would kind of fill out the boxes all along here. Um, and you're going to notice that the coding strand is complementary to the template strand, which is also complementary. Like the template strand is then complementary to the codon strand or the mRNA codon sequence. So you'll be going, I would probably just start left to right. Like what is A like base pair to T? What is T base pair to A? What is G base pair to C? Does that make sense?
yes. And then you'll just do that all across and then for the codon you'll do the same thing.
Yes, exactly.
So when you're saying like finding the like you said A was complementary to was like what was it T?
Yeah, T. Yeah, so A base
So
pairs with T. Yeah.
okay. So on the chart, how would you like look at that? Like how would you
So on like the chart down here at the bottom.
Mhm. Does
So
that help or no?
so for this, no, this will be completely separate. So for the chart down here, you'll be using this when uh when you actually are filling in the individual amino acids, which are these like blue circles. Um, because that'll be what like the protein code. So you would use the mRNA codon sequence. So you'll be using this sequence here. So for example, this codon sequence is going to be like once you find the answer, it's going to be AUG. Those are going to be the three nucleotides there. And that's going to, then you'll use that AUG to come down here to the genetic code. The first letter being A, the second being U, and then AUG. That this M or methionine is going to be your amino acid residue that you'll fill in here. So that's kind of like the workflow of this worksheet, if that makes sense.
Yes. And then the one okay, sorry, that's my son. And then the one
You're good, you're good.
the one letter is it still the same thing?
Yeah. So the three letter is going to be the you'll see next to all of the mRNA codon sequences here, you have a three letter shortening, just MET. So the full amino acid name is methionine. You can just look that up on Google if you're interested, but then MET is the three letter code, and then M is the one letter code.
Okay. So I'm sorry. So then the one letter would just be the M?
Yes, yeah. So here in this first circle, you would write like MET, and
Okay.
then for the one letter code, yeah, it would just be M underneath.
It'll just be M. Okay. Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Awesome. So it seems like the activity is just kind of getting a better understanding of changing from DNA to RNA to the proteins.
Yes. Yes.
Gotcha. And then is it ever preferred to use the three letter versus the one letter, or is it just kind of dealer's choice of when we want to use it?
I would say it's totally up to you.
Mhm.
Most of the time, it's the one letter code
Yeah.
that will be provided just because, I mean, it's just easier on the eyes, I would say.
Yeah.
Since, all the one letter code letters are like capitalized, and it looks similar to like almost like a DNA sequence,
Hmm.
the A, C's, T's, and G's. Then now you just have, a 20 letter alphabet instead of a four.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So most of the time you see one letter codes, especially in like, the literature and whatnot. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
Hey, can we review the activity 2?
Activity two, I haven't looked at that
No?
yet. Um,
Okay.
I could, we could look at it. As long as no one
It,
has further questions on
it tripped me out on the branches part. Like I like
Yup.
I got the gist
The
of
audience
it.
always laughing like so funny. She's talking about the audience that they're laughing at her.
Did you say the hoes are laughing?
Yep.
So the audience.
Sorry, what was that, Jeremy?
The activity 2, I was just like it was the branches part. I didn't like the figure out how many branches are in the chart or circle and basically the branches on there. I couldn't figure that out. I just guessed. So I just want to make sure.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, we can look at that together. I mean, like I said, I haven't really looked at that, but before doing that, would anyone else like to ask questions about um
Um,
this
I
activity
guess
one?
the only it's more of a general question. It
Mhm.
was kind of asked, but so like my setup, I have a like a two-in-one laptop. So it's like I do like a lot of stylus work on it for like note taking and stuff, and like
Oh, that's cool.
OneNote. So for like an activity like this, would I be able to like, download it and then like, doodle on it digitally on OneNote, and then once I've completed the assignment, and I feel like okay, this is good, like I can upload it to um the homework, like as my turn in assignment.
Yes, yeah. I don't think I mean this wasn't exactly specified to me, but I don't think you would be docked any points doing that. I mean, it's pretty much the same thing as printing it out, writing on it, and then uploading it. I just noticed that the only specification on the uploading part was that it needed to be a PDF. So yeah, as long as you can convert um that written document on your two-in-one into a
Mhm.
PDF, I think you should be fine.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Perfect.
Mhm. Okay, I just have one question in the chat that I'll respond to, and then yeah, I can open up activity two for me, so we can go over that also. Okay, let's see. Activity two. So from my understanding, activities one and two are due this week. Is that right?
Yes, yes, they are. That's why I wanted to go over that one.
Gotcha. Yeah. When's activity two's
I think it's due Sunday. I finished all my other assignments on ahead of time, so I was working on activity two, and it kind of tripped me out on the on the question. So I was just gonna,
okay,
before I submitted it.
I see. Gotcha. Yeah, this is definitely the part of genetics that I'm not as familiar with. I'm definitely more on like the molecular side for just like my overall research as a whole. So let's see if we can figure this out. Okay. So you said,
That branches part right here, where it's asking me for how many branches on there. I'm just wondering if it's the only the ones that are go to the dot ones are the branches, or are also included the ones where, for example, that go the opposite way, are
gotcha.
also called branches. I'm not. I'm like tripping out on that one.
No, you're good. You're good. I'm gonna try to figure this one out too, actually. Species. Oh, I see. Yeah, so this one I would definitely do some process of elimination because let's see. Yeah, so what was your thought process? I don't know if
Well, my process was it says for branches, I think there's six. So there's one, two, the ones that are connected to the dots on the top. that you
Uh-huh.
put the A, B, C, and D and F on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, those I count them as the branches, but I'm not sure if the ones that they go the opposite way are also branches or not. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Because if they are, it's more than six. But if it's just the ones that are connected to the dots, then it's total of six, because that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them that are connected to the dots that go to the animals or whatever you call those things.
Gotcha. So are you looking at question 1, actually?
No, I'm looking at question 2. I already did question 1.
I see. Okay. So 2 itself.
Mm-hmm. Question because you to answer question 3, you have to look at question 2.
Right.
Basically. So there's
Mhm.
one root, and then you find the internal nodes, how many internal nodes, and then you find how many terminal nodes, and then you find how many branches total. And that's what the one that's always a little off for me, because I'm not sure if it's just the ones that are connected to the circles on the top that you put the A, B, C, and D, or it's also the other ones that go, like for example, the where it says hair, that one's one branch, and then right there by feather gizzards are
Mhm.
another branch, or is just the one that says where the hair is at? That's a branch.
I
I'm
see.
not sure.
So, okay, just so we're on the same page, for 3, it looks
Mhm.
like you have these 4 options,
Mhm.
and I think it's more of a map. So you're talking about the number of branches, right?
Yes, the
Counting
number
up
of
the total
branches.
number. So I think this
Mhm.
question is actually asking you to match all 4 of these vocabulary terms to the 4 like numbered boxes that are pointing to different parts of the tree, if that makes sense.
Uh-huh.
So it says that, yeah, match the following components of a rooted tree with the respective numbers in the squares from the tree on the right.
Yeah, for that tree over there from question 2, right?
Yeah, yeah. So for like internal nodes, you would say if it's like 1, 2, 3, or 4, like what that's pointing to.
Oh, is that what it is?
That's how I'm reading it, Beata. I don't know if I'm on the right page on that.
Oh crap! They
Yes,
did
yes,
it. I did it
you're
wrong.
correct.
Okay.
Look is correct. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so basically, internal nodes is number 1, root is number 4, terminal nodes is number freaking 2, and then branches is no wait, terminal nodes is number 3, and branches is number 2. That what you're talking about?
So you would do something like that. Yeah, I can't like say whether that was right or not just because we're not supposed to give the
Hmm.
answers, but that's like, yeah, along the lines of what you would be looking for.
Oh shoot, I totally did it wrong then.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah, no, you're good. Because that's totally what I thought at first also.
Yeah, because I counted the branches and I put 6 instead of the oh, I didn't know that. Oh crap.
Gotcha.
I'm about to fix
You're
that.
good. Yeah, yeah. Thanks for bringing that up though. I'm sure like other people were also getting confused on that one.
Um, so I had a question.
Mhm.
So for this one, are you using the chart to figure out number 1?
It appears so. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because ultimately when you construct one of these phylogenetic trees, um, one of the first steps in doing that is to look at, some of the phenotypic, um, like some of the phenotypic traits that these animals have. So it's important to see, if an orchid is more different to one of these budgie birds than it is to like an Ebola virus. So that's why you're looking at the number of differences between each pair, and then from there, you'll be able to construct a phylogenetic tree with the most similar organisms being branched closer together.
Okay, so you're basically looking at, so the numbers is basically like where the plus signs are, and then you'll just, is that, or I haven't done this, that's why I'm just asking.
That sounds good. No, it's okay. It's the first time I'm looking at this, and it seems like that's what you are doing. Because if we look at F, which is what the capybara, and then E, Ebola virus, you see that there's 4 pluses in the capybara column that aren't present in the Ebola virus column. So I think that's where that 4 is coming from.
Okay, and then you'll just fill out the rest from like the chart or like F and D, and then you'll go from there basically.
Right. Yes. Yes.
So you're putting like sorry, which
You're good.
so if they don't have it, so if they both don't have it, are you adding that number up?
No, if they both don't have it, then
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't call it a difference between two organisms, if that makes sense.
Um, kind of.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's only if one of the organisms has it. So like a capybara has hair, but an Ebola virus obviously does not have hair. So that would be a difference, but both of them don't have feathers. So that's not a difference between
Okay,
organisms. Yeah,
that makes sense. And then you'll just fill in the box as basically what it's
correct.
asking.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So I just got a question in the chat asking if you need to do any writing in the dark gray boxes. You do not, because that's just like the other half of the table that would have the same information as the unhighlighted like white squares there.
So for the second chart or the second question, are you not filling anything in the circles? Or are you just using that for the third question?
I see what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
For the second question on the circles, you have to put what animal or creature goes in there, like A, B, C, and D and F.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay. Indicate missing character. So if it's missing characteristics, then you'll put the letter.
So it
Yeah,
looks,
basically
yeah,
what it goes from evolvation of from the start of the root, and it goes which one goes on the corner one over here. That basically just has the characteristic for that one. Then it evolves to the other one, and then it evolves from the other one. Basically, you put which one goes to which.
right. Yeah. So for these dotted lines, you would add the characteristics that should be there.
Oh, okay, for the dotted lines. And then
Yeah.
okay.
And then for the circles, you'll be, yeah, like Fermin said, you're going to be writing A through F.
Okay. So like just to clarify, so since the feather gizzards, since it both points to the first two circles, you're
Mhm.
looking for basically which animal has that, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. Thanks for the help, Fermin.
Yeah, this one's a tricky one, man. When I did it, seriously, I was like, "What the hell?"
No, I mean, I don't blame you. This like I applaud people who work with phylogenetic trees all the time because those things are just so like tough. Yeah, that's not my bread and butter at all. So I'm glad we were able to talk about this though. How does everyone's workload look like in terms of having other classes as well in the summer? Or is this really your only class that you're doing at this point? I'm just
For me,
curious
it's
with
my only
how.
class since I work full time and I have two children, an 8 month and a 6-year-old. I kind of have to go part time.
Yeah. No, I mean that's another job in itself. So,
I have this class and another one, and then two more in summer B, and I work full time.
wow. So how's that been with being able to actually manage all of that?
I stress and pull my hair out and stay very organized.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And I have no weekends.
Started going bald.
Yeah, this is the only course for me because I'm doing this at the same time as preparing for my MCAT. So
Oh,
um
geez.
yeah, it's like because this is a 6 week course instead of like the usual 7.5 or 8.
Hmm.
Uh it's usually 6 to 8 hours I plan on spending for this course and then about the same for the MCAT in a day. And then, yeah, just trying to prepare for all that at the same time is kind of like just a big overall final that you're trying to review for. So,
Yeah. So, I mean, when are you taking that MCAT?
I'm looking to take it in July, so like just after this course ends, because I have taken it before,
Hmm.
and when I took it before, um, I was kind of hit with the courses that I hadn't really taken yet. One of them being genetics. There was a lot of genetics questions, and there was a lot of like organic chemistry / biochemistry related questions, and those are my Achilles heel. So that's why I'm like, I had to retake it because I didn't get the score that I wanted.
Gotcha. Okay. Sweet. Yeah, that's busy. Yeah, all of you are really busy. So I was just curious because I had another question in the chat about whether someone thought they would be able to take other courses on top of this one. And as someone who has not done ASU online much, I was just curious what other people thought about it.
Yeah, I did my degree. I got my undergrad through ASU online during COVID,
Oh,
and
wow.
it really depends. Like, because summer courses are about a week and a half, 2 weeks shorter than like AB sessions during fall and spring.
Hmm.
Uh, but it really comes down to like if the course is like something that you've never done before, if you feel like it's something that you're really kind of like weak about, I feel like that's if you're going to take another course, it would have to be something that you're like really confident that you don't have to spend too much time on. So for me, that was always like English courses. So whenever I paired um, like a course like this with something, it was always with something um, that I knew I was going to do well, and I didn't have to spend a lot of time. I was writing's my strong suit, so
Yeah,
um, yeah, I would spend like maybe an hour in a class that was like writing intensive a day, and then I'd spend like most of my time in this class. But yeah,
gotcha. Okay.
yeah, I'm seeing like people are just realizing that. So yeah, this one is like 6 weeks during summer A and B, yeah, and then C, yeah, is the entire summer. So that's why it looks everything is like so condensed. Um, yeah.
Definitely. So it's going to be, yeah, I mean, pros and cons. You're going to be struggling with this, or not struggling, hopefully, with for only 6 weeks. So it'll be over quicker. But then again, like, I imagine it was really hard to condense it into 8 weeks first, and then the fact that it is 6 weeks, it'll be super fast paced. But uh, yeah, just make sure you use us TAs and ATAs as um, kind of like resources to help you get through things, especially if you're not understanding something or don't know where to start the first time. I also recommend, using some, you're not supposed to use like, AI to actually answer questions, but just getting a big understanding of some lecture material that you might not get. Like, for example, some of the experiments that you guys might have learned, like the Griffith experiment or like the Hershey Chase experiments, to actually find that DNA is the genetic material. That the first time for me was really hard to learn. So, using something like Google Gemini or ChatGPT to kind of re-explain those experiments might be helpful, or just for other parts of the course, if that makes sense.
I was also going to say if there's any memorization, usually what's a good tool to have is Anki or Quizlet. Um, if most people are probably more familiar with like Quizlet, but like if it's like terms that you're trying to get down, or like if there's sequences that, like for example, that have to be memorized, um, uh, Anki's kind of really helpful, and Quizlet just because more so Anki, because if you get a question right and you mark it right, it'll show up less because you already know it. But if you get it wrong, then it'll show up more frequently. And it's almost like a digital flashcard system that you can have on your phone, on your laptop. And even if you're at work and you're like, oh man, I have a 15-minute break, I want to study, you can just pull out your phone and just, race through it like 2 times, and then you're there, you studied.
That one sounds pretty cool. You said it was Aki?
Anki, it's Anki.
Okay.
It's used in a lot of like science courses, and especially for like people use it in certain grad school, especially like med school and other programs. Because the cool thing is you can find pre-made decks of flashcards, so you don't have to necessarily spend like hours searching for something. It's pre-made, and there's sometimes you can find people who make the decks who've already taken like this course, for example. I haven't looked up to see if there's anything like that just yet, but I know people have made like Quizlets and other things because I think I forget what textbook they use for this course, but it's like an online textbook, like lecture system combined. So I think there's like a corresponding like flashcard system for it too.
Wow. Okay. No, that's really cool.
Speaking of studying, hey, for the exam, is it just the videos that we have there, or is there like specific? They're gonna give us like a specific, study guide thingy to focus on that are going to be on the quiz, or is it going to be is the exam going to be based on the assignments that we did or homeworks?
Gotcha. So I would definitely study the lectures. Make sure you take notes during and after the lectures, just to simple that. And then I will say that usually worksheets for a class are pretty applicable to exam questions. Beata, I don't know if there are if like a study guide is provided, or if there's like practice tests. I'm unaware of those, but
Yeah, so before each exam, there will be a practice test published 2 days before, and I recommend going through it really
I always do
properly.
for any class when it gives practice exam. That's what I was wondering, because the quizzes that I did, like for example, the dogma quiz, it closed after I did it, and I'm like, I can't review it, and I'm like,
okay.
is that going to be part of the exam, or what the heck is going on? So I was wondering if that was going to practice exam. And if there is, I definitely going to study that.
Yeah, and also Professor Halchek, she goes through the practice exam questions before each exam. I think so.
Oh, nice. Good to know. Thank you.
So then, when are we able to review quizzes to see like what we got wrong and everything like that? Is there like a time after that the quiz closes, and then we can like see like what we got wrong, so we can kind of learn from that? Or
Gotcha. That's a good question. I don't know off the top of my head, but I can check to see if they do show the right answers ever.
I believe the dogma quiz, it said the answer, the right answer template will be shown after the date closes, basically the time that you have to, the assignment closes. That's what it says. Because it showed it doesn't show nothing now. It's basically blank. It just shows that I finished it. And then it did say, I think it was May 22nd when you have to do that one, that first quiz for the dogma one. I think. And it said after that closes, you can see the right answer template. That's what it said.
Okay. Gotcha. Because not every course will let you look at it even after the closing date. That's good.
Yeah. But for the individual quizzes for the homeworks, it actually gives you the what you got on there. It doesn't tell you which one's wrong and right, but you can tell by just looking at what points you got right. It basically tells you 0.5 out of 0.5. they say you got that one right. But if it says 0 out of 1 point, you got that one wrong. You can tell by just looking at it for the
Gotcha.
individual quizzes for the homeworks.
Oh, that's really helpful. Okay, yeah.
Yes, it does appear that you'll be able to see the answers after the quiz is due. So I'm looking at one right now. Like if it's due at midnight, the correct answers will show up at 12:05 a.m. So yeah, definitely that would be a great study tool as well, especially when the exams start coming closer. So
Yeah, that's what I was wondering if the exam is based on the quizzes that we did, like the concept checks quizzes, and I can just review them over and over again and hope to. Usually that how I worked every other classes. I review the homeworks or the quizzes, practice quizzes, and then I end up getting a C or a B on it, and I'm good with that.
gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I mean the quizzes will like if they're concept quizzes, they'll definitely be kind of the foundation that the knowledge foundation that the exam will actually be based on. But if there are study guides or practice exams, I would definitely make sure you know everything on there and attend Dr. Holochek's um, special like office hours or exam preparation meetings. So yeah. Beata, do you have any other recommendations on how to kind of like especially succeed early in classes? Because I'm not sure if other people have had this where they start off a class, the first exam, their grade is not good. But that was because you weren't exactly sure what to expect from an exam. I don't know if you have any recommendations.
So basically, I would recommend, because I know that at least in my semester, the policy was to drop the lowest score. So there was a final exam, which was the last, obviously, and the lowest out of 4 was dropped. So I would recommend to take the final exam, even if it's not, even if the previous 3 exams were quite good, then that final exam is really something which usually people score higher. I feel like that than the previous ones. So even if you don't succeed in the first exam, don't worry, you have one of them dropped. You focus on the remaining ones.
Cool.
If we have an issue with like if there's a thing where like honor lock freezes or like it because I was reading some um reviews of the software, if there's like a thing where it times us out early or there's like an issue with the connection or something like that, um is there anything that we can do, like what happens to the exam or something like that if something like that occurs?
Gotcha. I mean, yeah, first of all, I hope that would never happen. But if it does, I would definitely reach out to Dr. Holochek.
It does actually sometimes. It happened to me before, and I had a timed 45 minutes,
Mhm.
and then it timed out. So you have to first do the chat because there's a chat option on it where you're on Harlock when you're doing the exam, and if something goes off, that's where you troubleshoot them, and they can troubleshoot you. And if your time runs out, you definitely send an email to your professor so they can. I don't know how they can help you, either give you partial credit or something, and because it's not your fault that it went down and you tried. Just make sure to keep copies of those transaction chats so you can show proof that you tried before your time ran out, in the middle of the exam.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there some sort of like transcript, like log of?
Yeah, on the chat thingy, you can see it right there. There's clicks where you can click the transcripts. You could probably download them, or you can take a snapshot of it and everything like that. Sorry, that's my son. And so yeah, you can see the transcripts of the talk and everything with the IT people for Harlock.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I would definitely have some sort of receipt that you're timed out. Or if something does freeze on you, make sure that you do have something that you can send Dr. Holochek so that she can work with you to resolve the issue. I don't know if from her side she can see if there's a problem as well. But if you have your own receipts, you can definitely like make sure that you provide some evidence. Yeah.
Yeah, Honor not perfect, man. I've had issues in the past with them, and yeah, it's always helpful to keep those transcripts handy because the teachers can't see or the professors can't see at the time of the exam is going on what if you went through until after the exam is done and closed and basically, and then she can review the transcripts themselves. When Harlock is it's being monitored at the time of while you're doing the exam, someone is monitoring you from the honor lock people, basically, I call them. They monitor you while you're doing the exam, and if they see you're doing something wrong, for example, you're not following the rules, it says you have to keep your hands and face shown at all times, and somehow you put your hand down to scratch yourself or something, they'll stop the exam. They literally will block you and then into you, and then they'll send a message to you, your hands are not showing or anything.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, like, because how do you? That makes me question, like, how do you answer? Like, you have to click on your mouse or your mouse pad to like answer questions, and that might make your hand go out of. Yeah.
Well, if your hand still looks like it's on the desk, most of the time they won't do it. But that's if your hands go away. Like, for example, your hands go underneath the desk. That's when they'll stop the exam. They'll basically stop you right there and then and tell you, "Hey, you're not showing your hands," because they don't know if you're cheating or not if you have something underneath the table. But there's other classes I've heard that they're very strict. Like the professor's very strict, and even putting my like me, for example, I had one of those classes. I think it was calculus. I put my
Mhm.
hand underneath my other arm, and they stopped me for a minute, and I'm like, what the heck? And I showed my hands again, and then they're like, yes, please don't put your hand underneath your other hand. We have to see your hands at all times.
Oh
So
my
yeah,
gosh.
just make sure you read when you before you start your exam. Read the instructions of what you're supposed to do. If it says keep your hands and face shown at all times, try to
Mm.
do that as best as you can. It's very hard. I've had other people that try, and then their computer, the way they're positioned, the computer or the camera was not
Mhm.
good enough for them, and they stopped them in the middle of it, and they had to adjust it, and basically they didn't get as good score as they wanted to, and I don't know what they did from there, but that's what the stories I've heard too through Honor Lock. Just make sure you follow the rules or it says before you start it, because I'll tell you what you can and can't have, and what you can do and not do when you're doing the exam.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard like I've heard stories where, obviously if you're doing ASU online, you might be at home with others and then someone else makes a noise in the background and then they like mess with you. The lab I work in, our lab manager did ASU online and she said that was a struggle making sure you could get through an exam period without them like stopping you. So
Yeah, there's some classes that don't want no background noise. You have to be quiet. You can't talk in the middle of the exam, even though you're by yourself. Like for
yeah.
me, it's kind of hard because in order to understand it, I'm audio listening. I have to hear myself ask the question out loud so my brain can process it and say, okay, this is the answer. And it's kind of hard for me because sometimes if they're like no talking out loud, I get dinged for it, you know?
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, taking exams in person, people are making noises. Yeah, exactly. Like kind of like whispering the question to themselves,
Yeah.
thinking out
I have to
loud.
whisper it, basically. I can't be too
I
loud.
got in trouble for wearing my hoodie, but my
Really?
house was like really cold and I got in trouble. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
geez. Oh my gosh.
You got to be
Yeah.
careful.
Someone on Discord is asking how long until the recording is posted.
This recording,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be uploading it right afterwards. So, Dr. Holacek recommended, so this is the first time I've ever done an office hour like this before. And so she recommended that I have like this little YouTube channel and then I'll upload it to YouTube and then I will upload that media to um, like a document or like a page on Canvas and I'll publish that.
Okay.
Hopefully
Awesome.
at most, hopefully within 30 minutes. Dr. Holacek said sometimes YouTube can take a while. Um, but yeah, within 30 minutes at least.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Ven pa' acá, mijo. Ay, qué precioso.
There was also a question of how similar the practice exams are to the actual exams. Um, Beata, did you find that they were pretty similar when you took the course?
From what I remember, they didn't cover everything because the exams at the session in spring semester they consisted of the multiple choice questions, and then there was an essay portion. So that was more similar to activities, I feel, than the practice exam. The practice exam didn't cover the essay portion, but the multiple choice of the same type, I would say.
Okay, yeah. So knowing everything on the practice exam would definitely be good. And then, like Fermin's talked about, you'll want to go over the quizzes, especially things that you got wrong. Um, Obviously, in this condensed course, there's going to be so much information that you could spend, I don't know, 8 hours trying to study for this exam. But if you know something really well, I wouldn't spend as much time on it. Like if you understand DNA transcription super well, how to get from DNA to RNA to proteins, maybe you don't have to study that nearly as much as phylogenetic trees because I would have to spend a lot of time on that. So, but yeah, you guys got this.
All right, man. Thank you for your help, Ed.
Yeah, of course. If there's no other questions, I'll start uploading my video to Canvas so that other people can watch it. Thanks for letting me know what was happening on Discord too. I joined it, but I haven't actually looked at it today. So yeah. Does anyone have any other questions before we sign off?
No, I'm all good. Thanks, man. Have a
Yeah.
good day.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you all too. Thanks for joining.
Thank you for the help.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
thank you.
Yeah. See you.